Salt. It's one of the simplest elements in our lives today. But did you know that in the Bible, it holds incredible power? From its role in ancient covenants to its mysterious connection to spiritual warfare, salt is much more than a seasoning. It could be a spiritual weapon. In today's video, we're going to dive into the fascinating biblical history of salt and uncover how it might be used to protect and empower you in your spiritual journey. Let's explore the hidden truth of salt and its potential spiritual power. The biblical foundation of salt. Salt appears throughout the Bible, and its significance goes far beyond the kitchen. In fact, salt was used to symbolize covenants, purity, and even judgment. One of the earliest mentions comes in Leviticus 2:13, where God commands his people to season their offerings with salt, calling it the salt of the covenant. Why salt? What makes it so important that God would specifically ask for it in rituals? In ancient cultures, salt was associated with preservation. It was used to prevent decay. And in the same way, a covenant with God is meant to be everlasting, unbreakable. Salt was more than just symbolic. It represented the eternal nature of God's promises, his commitment to preserve and protect those who enter into a covenant with him. Salt in Jesus' teachings. Fast forward to the New Testament, and we see Jesus himself using salt as a powerful metaphor. In Matthew 5:13, Jesus tells his disciples, "You are the salt of the earth." What does this mean? Jesus wasn't just referring to flavor or preservation in the physical sense. He was calling his followers to live lives that would preserve and purify the world around them, to bring out the best in others by living in righteousness. Jesus was challenging his followers to be agents of change, to prevent the moral and spiritual decay of society by living according to his teachings. Just like salt enhances flavor and preserves food, our actions and words can have a powerful influence in the world. Salt and spiritual warfare. But there's another side to salt that not many people talk about: its role in spiritual warfare. In various traditions and cultures, salt has been believed to ward off evil spirits and protect against negative energy. But does this idea have biblical roots? While the Bible doesn't explicitly mention using salt for protection from evil spirits, the symbolic power of salt, representing purity, preservation, and judgment, can be linked to spiritual protection. In Ephesians 6:12, we're reminded that our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of evil. Could salt, as a symbol of God's purity and preservation, be used in prayer and spiritual practice to protect us from these forces? Throughout history, many have used salt in rituals to cleanse spaces, protect their homes, and draw boundaries. But the true power, as always, lies in God's authority, not in the salt itself. Salt in modern spirituality. Even today, salt is used in various spiritual practices. From blessing homes to protecting against evil, salt remains a symbol of purity and defense. But how can we, as modern believers, apply these ancient truths? Think of salt as a reminder to stay spiritually pure and vigilant. Use it symbolically in your life, whether that's sprinkling it as a physical reminder during prayers or simply reflecting on what it represents in your relationship with God. So how can you use salt as a spiritual weapon in your own life? Here are a few practical tips. Pray over your salt. Before using it in cooking, take a moment to pray, asking God to bless your food and home. Create a salt barrier. For protection, consider placing a line of salt around your home or specific areas you want to sanctify. Salt in water. Add salt to water when cleansing your space or during spiritual baths. This is believed to remove negativity and invite peace. Salt may seem simple, but its biblical symbolism is something else entirely. It's a covenant marker, a purifying agent, and yes, perhaps even a spiritual weapon. Whether you're sealing a covenant with God, standing against evil, or preserving goodness in a world that needs it, salt is a powerful symbol to remind us of our calling. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden truths of the Bible. And remember, You are the salt of the earth. Stay salty.